right, it's been a while, but we are back. How are you doing?
Hello, hello.
I hope that you guys are having a good start to your spring. We're going to be talking a lot about our spring break trip on this, and there's going to be several different shows. So if you're watching these out of order a little bit, that's okay. Go back to the channel, and you'll see all the different ones where we discuss our trip and also talk a little bit about your plans. I think for still got some
September,
months
yeah.
away,
Yeah.
but it's
But it kind of gives
never-
me an idea of what to expect, I guess, going off of what Tyler and his family just experienced over spring break.
And it's never too early to start planning.
No, absolutely not.
The earlier, the better. In fact,
Yes.
you've already started, I hope.
Oh, yeah, I started like 3 years ago.
So we had a lot of different people send in some requests for what they wanted us to do while we were in Disney World.
Okay.
And one of the big things people wanted to know, and that both of us have gotten questions from, especially from people we know here in town, is what about Genie Plus?
Mhm.
So, what about Genie Plus? This is going to be the most negative part of any of the shows we ever do.
We're going to talk about the dark side of Disney, hence Tyler's lovely ears today.
I'm a fuddy-duddy, but they're still ears. You know, this is, and there's no redemption here.
No, it's got to be talked about, though. We just can't pretend it's all gravy right now because it's not. There's some kinks, for sure, in the Disney system that we think need to be worked out.
Yeah, we, the entire population, the people that work there.
I wasn't going to say it, but
So if you don't want to hear the negative stuff, feel free to skip this episode after you like it, and at least, skip all the way through it so it shows someone viewed it. That'd be great.
Yeah.
But we're going to do it in a way that I think will benefit you if you're going to be going to the parks.
and it could save you money.
Yeah, to help you prepare for it. So we're not going to bury the lead here. Genie Plus is an evil. Whether or not it's a necessary evil depends a little bit on what you want in a trip to Disney World.
Yes.
But evil has to be in the title there somewhere. We talked with multiple cast members while at Disney World that said they don't like it. I went and talked to the concierge at Pop Century, and I'm not even going to say male or female. I don't want anyone to get in trouble.
Right.
But that person, out of the numerous people that work at that resort, said they had been to Hollywood Studios and flat out said, Genie Plus is broken, especially at studios. They are, I was going to run through some of the negatives real quick. First of all, if you look at the fine print for Genie Plus, if you look at the fine print for wait times, they will be up front and tell you that wait times are not an accurate measurement. So they're letting you know, at least somewhat, that these wait times may not actually be what you experience. In the past, it would usually be you might experience longer than this.
Right.
And my experience, especially at Hollywood Studios, was that they were always inflated. I took a lot of notes for how long we were waiting in line. I mean, this is just 1 out of 5 pages here. And give you a little bit of a rundown. Toy Story Mania says 45 minutes. It was actually 27 minutes. Runaway Railway said it was 90 minutes. Even after going through the pre-show cartoon, it was still less than an hour. And it was on and on like this. Where
Those
it
are
would
huge
say,
discrepancies. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to say it, but that sounds like a ploy to get you to buy Genie Plus.
You don't have to say it because I think everyone else on YouTube has said it too.
It just sounds like a big scam. I don't know.
I've watched Braden at Mickey Views
Yeah.
say it. I've watched DSNY Newscast say it.
Yeah.
I watch people who cover Universal say it.
Yeah. Well,
So it was greatly inflated. Now, I will say the other parks seem to be a little bit more accurate than Hollywood Studios.
okay.
And in other shows, we're going to talk about some other things at studios that make me wonder what is going on at that particular park.
Well, we could take into account that Rise of the Resistance is now open, and it is still a very, very popular, new, and incredible ride that's people's main focus right now is getting to that ride, which is in that park, which could be making, I don't know, maybe I'm giving the benefit of the doubt to Disney and saying maybe that's why they're inflating the wait times. I don't know.
It is. We'll probably have a short episode that's just about Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah.
I forgot to put that in our show notes, but we've got to talk about that show. But yeah, I mean, it's greatly inflated, and it does seem like when you're looking at the wait times and everything you see is 90 minutes or above, like your only option is to get Genie Plus.
Right.
And so here's what we experienced. Um, we did not purchase Genie Plus with our tickets. If you purchase Genie Plus with your tickets, like whenever you're planning how many days, what hotel, all that stuff, you can purchase Genie Plus at that time, but it will give you Genie Plus for every day.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a family of 4, that's $63.92 per day. And if you're spending 5 days at the park, that's over $300 added just for Genie Plus. And you do not need it at every park.
No.
Not even close. So my advice is do not purchase it with your tickets. What you can do is if you're going to Magic Kingdom on a Wednesday, as soon as 12:01 in the morning hits, you could buy Genie Plus for that day. And at 7 o'clock in the morning is when you can start making your Genie Plus reservations. And that's if you're on site or off site. Everyone can make Genie Plus at the same time. So there's no difference there. So my advice, first of all, would be figure out which days you want to use it for. Most likely Magic Kingdom, maybe Studios. That's probably it.
Mm-hmm.
And then be ready to go. There are lots of good sites. WDW Prep School is where I went to get recommendations for Genie Plus first bookings, because there are certain rides that will sell out quicker than others and lose their availability.
Mm-hmm.
So first thing first is that's how much. If you got a family of 4, $63.92 is what it is with taxes included for that per one day.
Per day. So if you're staying a whole week, that adds like a big chunk of money to your ticket, and you may not even need it on the days that you're in the parks. You may just be standing in line because you bought it, and you may not even need it. So something to think about.
And that's one of the bad things is whenever you spend so much money that I don't really want to do this, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Because you got to get your money out of it.
Like I'm gonna book a Lightning Lane for Muppet Vision. I don't want to sit and watch the show, but it's the only thing that's available, so I guess I'll do it so I don't feel like a fool for spending my money. That kind of thing enters your mind when you're doing that.
Yeah.
And just a refresher, Lightning Lane replaces FastPass Plus, rest in peace. It is available for almost every ride and some parades. They have, for the Festival of Fantasy parade, an option to get a Lightning Lane. And I believe what they do is they block off some of that area just in front of the castle and Main Street. And you have to scan your Magic Band. We didn't do this, first of all. But I think they have people there that scan the Magic Band, and if you have it, they let you in so that you can have a front row seat.
Oh, that aggravates me. That is my favorite thing, is the parades. And now that you have to get access to the best spots in the parade, that's just...
But I feel like that one's not as needed. We've seen Festival of Fantasy, not this year, but in past years, and we've just watched it coming down like Sleepy Hollow area.
It's probably not. It's just the principle and the idea of them.
It's the idea of a parade is that if you get somewhere near the road, you'll see all of it, you know. And if you don't like the parade, the advice I got from Mitch Hedberg was run in the opposite direction really quick. It'll be like you're fast forwarding the parade. So they have all this. Some rides don't have it. I know for sure Astro Orbiter does not have it, and I think that's due to the elevator system you have to take to get up there. And then, of course, there are rides at each park that don't have it. And just a quick rundown of those. Magic Kingdom, it's Space Mountain, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Animal Kingdom is Everest and Flight of Passage. Epcot is Frozen Ever After and Ratatouille. And Hollywood Studios is Rise of the Resistance and Runaway Railway.
So you're telling me all of the rides that you will need a Lightning Lane for, you can't have because they don't have it?
Almost. During busy times of the year, like when we went, they removed one of those and put it into Genie Plus. And those were Frozen Ever After, Runaway Railway, and Space Mountain. So you could use that with Genie Plus because it was busier times of the year.
Right.
At any other time, you would have to pay individually for that ride between $7 and $15 per person. Now, at Animal Kingdom, Everest was not on the ride or on the list because Everest is still shut down.
Refurbishment.
So that one didn't change any. But we were able to use Space Mountain, Runaway Railway, and Frozen Ever After were options for Lightning Lanes when we were there.
All good options.
For Lightning Lanes with Genie Plus. The others we could have used if we had been willing to pay an almost equal amount just for that one ride.
Mm-hmm.
You also can only use a Lightning Lane return time one time per ride. So you can't just book over and over Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin if that's your kid's favorite ride. You can do it one time, but that's it. And I understand that a little bit. The idea is you are going to go ahead and reduce the stress because Fast Pass made standby times very long.
Mm-hmm.
But we went, and the crowds were not as bad as any other time we've ever been to Disney World because they're still on the park reservation system, and so the capacities are lower. And so even though there were lower crowds and they have this lightning lane set up in such a way that's supposed to not affect standby, standby was still ridiculous.
Oh, man.
So something's going on there. I did make a little note of some of our thoughts here on Genie Plus. The why you shouldn't get it, but probably need to. So like I said, we've already gone through some of these. You can reserve them starting at 7. You can get the next one after either that reservation has been used or 2 hours after the time you booked or 2 hours after the park opens. And the way that works is our first day, we got a Slinky Dog Dash one for $11.55. The park opened officially at 8:30, so we could book a second one at 10:30. When we were at Magic Kingdom one day, we got a Jungle Cruise for like $9.20. And so as soon as we used that one, we were able to book another one even though the park hadn't been open. But you can do that only one time per ride. And so that's kind of your overview of it. So this is my experience. 3 days of usage. 1 full day at Studios, 1 day at Magic Kingdom where we didn't get till about 1 o'clock, and then another full day at Magic Kingdom. At Studios, we got 3 usage. We paid $63.92 and we skipped the line 3 times. Slinky Dog Dash, Rock and Roller Coaster, Tower of Terror. Skipping those 3 lines, though, did probably save us about 5 hours of wait time.
I believe that 100%.
Tower of Terror was around 135 minutes most of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say that it's a necessary evil, that's kind of what I mean. No one likes it,
You don't
but
want to give in to it, but you have to.
there's a price I'm willing to pay to not stand out in the Florida heat for Tower of Terror.
Amen.
And apparently that's $63.92. On the Magic Kingdom day, Magic Kingdom had better availability. I didn't get it till almost 1, and I still had just as many Lightning Lane return times as what we did for the other one.
Mm.
And on all 3 of these days, we went back to our resorts a little bit and had some rest time. And so you have travel time getting there and back, and that takes up some of the space and some of your time frames. And there are some rides that we had on Studios a Lightning Lane return time for, but we just didn't use it because we didn't need to. Things like Star Tours.
Right.
So, yeah, this does look very bad, and I will admit to you that some of that's because of how we planned our trips. That we had some time to go ahead and go back to the resort and rest.
Mm-hmm.
And we were still completely exhausted. We walked over 80 miles this trip.
Oh, yeah.
So I admit that. However, it's still just tough because we had 11 total, and we might have had 11 in one day on the old system.
No kidding.
And so at Magic Kingdom, we were able to do the second day, the 3 mountains. And that was kind of neat, honestly. It was really neat starting at 7 to basically go from mountain to mountain to mountain.
That's pretty
with
cool.
no wait time.
Mm-hmm.
The next day that we used it was Magic Kingdom, our second day there. And I did a little bit more research, and I found out Jungle Cruise and Peter Pan are the ones that run out first.
Wow.
For some reason.
Peter Pan has always got a ridiculous wait time. I can't wrap my head around Jungle Cruise. I don't know. But Peter Pan, it's always a really long wait time.
And I was sitting there, kind of writing notes on Jungle Cruise for some more bad dad jokes and all. and there were some good ones there, and it's fun to laugh, but it is funny that those are the ones. But we were able to get both of those, and then all Splash Mountain, Thunder Mountain, and Haunted Mansion. And I didn't put it down there, but I believe we also did get a Lightning Lane for Space Mountain. I must have missed that one. I know that we did. I just may not have marked it as a Lightning Lane in my copious amounts of notes.
You got one on the first day.
I did get one on the first day, but I know we got, because we wrote it again before, and I know we did not wait in line that second day.
Okay.
So, yes, we did. 6:25. I just did not mark it on my notes as that. So, we got quite a bit. Pirates of the Caribbean at 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
We'd already been on it about 2 or 3 times this trip, and the lightning lane was so long, it was just, no, we're not doing this. We're tired. It was our last night in the park.
Yeah.
And so we just left there and went to Haunted Mansion, which was a walk-on.
Awesome.
And so that's how much usage that I actually got it. And so the question comes around is always, is it worth it? Now, we didn't use it at Epcot. We didn't use it at Animal Kingdom because there's actually only 6 rides in the Animal Kingdom that you could use it on. And some of those aren't worth using. Like, I'm including Triceratops Spin, which is the Dumbo clone there. You could use it for Navi River Journey, but we were only there half a day, and you can't pick what time you go.
Right.
And so there was too much of a risk that if I got a Genie Plus,
It would
all
have
the
been like at
times would have
7
been.
p.m. and you guys would have been gone.
Yeah, we left before 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
So there was just no way I was going to do that.
No.
And at Epcot, there's more rides, and there's more popular rides. But we went to Epcot, and we rope dropped, which, again, if you're new, that's the getting there insanely early so that you can be one of the first ones in the park.
Highly recommend that. You have a great chance and opportunity to get on some of the big wait time rides early in the morning, being the first one on, having to not wait in line, and you've already paid for it, so why not?
And in the first 3 hours of the park opening at Epcot, we had been on the 5 major attractions.
See, and that's amazing. That's what rope dropping, the kind of benefits that will get you.
So I don't feel like there's any need for it on those 2 parks. So here's what we broke down. With us having 11 rides at the cost we paid for 3 days, it ended up costing $17.43 per ride. So a little bit over $4 per person is what that boiled down to. Like I said, there could have been more value, but we skipped some things. And a lot of these wait times got in the 100-plus minutes. Tower of Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster, Slinky Dog Dash, Peter Pan.
Probably Small World.
Space Mountain, Splash Mountain, especially on the hot day, Splash Mountain got long.
Mine Train.
But you can't use Seven Dwarfs Mine Train for Genie Plus. So
rope drop that one.
It depends. If you're going to do it, I would say use it only on those parks. So that's kind of some of our thoughts on that. And Universal has a system too. We did do a Universal trip. We're going to talk about that in one of our other videos too. But I would like to compare the two. Universal has Express Pass. And so I'll just go ahead and pull that on the screen here so you can see it. This covers every ride except for Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventures. We will just forever call Hagrid's from this point on. And Velocicoaster. Everything else you can use. And there are different options for it. If you want the only one ride per attraction, which is kind of how the Genie Plus stuff is set up, $89 per person per day. So it is a lot more expensive. If you want unlimited rides, add another $30 to that. The third option, though, is if you're staying at a deluxe resort, like where we stayed at Lowe's Pacific Royale, you get the unlimited included for everybody, and your hotel key is what they will actually scan for your Express Pass.
Makes life a lot easier.
And so I looked, I don't know when y'all are going in September, but I looked up some dates in September just for trying to figure it out here. And for that, you'd be spending about $28.94 to stay 3 nights at the hotel and to get 3 days at the park. Not exactly what we did. We only had 2 nights at the hotel.
But that's also included your Express Pass. That is everything.
And so that costs $28.94.25. The value resorts, depending on where you stayed at, was somewhere between $1,800 to $2,000 range. So yeah, you're going to spend about $800 more, but you have that included, the unlimited. And for a family of 4, you're talking over $1,200 to buy that individually. So there's a lot of
and you have a
reason.
nicer resort already.
Yes. And Pacific Royale, and we'll talk about this later, it's a very good place to get to the parks.
Oh,
So-
you told me that you could walk to the park.
So that's kind of the comparison there with that is Universal is a lot more expensive, but you can have the option to do unlimited times per ride. You don't have to be told what time to come back to the
Mhm.
ride. You walk by the ride you want to do it, you just scan and go. It's that simple.
And don't let the all rides but Hagrid's and Velocicoaster scare you. Those probably are the main two biggest attractions right now in Universal. But keep in mind, you can also rope drop at Universal, obviously. Like you can get there and hop on one of the big rides, and you'll just have to wait in line for the other one. And you can hop on all the other rides throughout the day. So
And there's some big name rides on there. Forbidden Journey, Escape from Green Gots, The Incredible Hulk are all
Hulk,
things
right.
that you can do with Express Pass.
Mm-hmm.
And so just to kind of wrap up this little section, some final thoughts. Like I said, Genie Plus is broken. Wait times are always exaggerated, but it's almost necessary. And I put down 2 reasons here. If you're going in the summer, that heat is awful. We
Oh,
had
yeah.
good weather, and I still didn't want to wait in the sun for some of these rides.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're going during a busy time like spring break, Memorial Day, Christmas. It's
Mm-hmm.
a really busy time on that. And I might add another reason for almost necessary if you have young kids.
Oh, gosh,
I mean,
yes.
even if you can only skip 4 or 5 lines a
Mhm.
day, being able to skip that with young kids is amazing.
Mhm.
If not, be prepared with battery packs so that your kids can play heads up the entire time, because that's every time we got in the line, Brooklyn was like, can we play heads up?
We never had to play that when we went during Dorian, so keep that in mind.
All right. So Universal wins
I agree.
as far as that goes. And so that's, do you have anything you want to add to Genie Plus?
No, we just haven't experienced Genie Plus. So what you're telling me is new information to me as well. Like I said, when we went, we had Fast Pass, and obviously so did you the last time you went. So this is all new information for me as well. But everything you told me is everything I expected and suspected.
I have been told that every bit of feedback with Genie Plus that comes into Disney World is all negative.
Well, fingers crossed that they take that into account and that they make something change.
And there are ways they could do it. It's just,
Mhm.
will they do it? And with some of the other things going on, I don't have a lot of faith that they'll make the right decision
Right.
on that. So, but that
Disney
is-
planning is stressful. It is. Unless, I think it's a fun stress, if there's any such thing. But to me, Genie Plus just sounds like way a bunch of stress and anxiety, and it's just more to it, adding to it, and just trying to figure out, like you said, you can't change your day around once you've purchased it. Once you've purchased it, you're stuck on that schedule for the rest of the day. So
Oh, and that is one thing. Let's say for a minute that I've got that rock and roller coaster return time of 8:25. I open up the app later and I see, hey, there's actually availability at 3.
Mm.
I can't simply tap and change it. That's what you would think. I can just tap and change it.
uh-huh.
You have to go into your plans for the day, click on that one, cancel it,
Mm.
confirm that you're canceling, then go back to your tip board
Hope
in the
it's still
app
there.
and hope it's still there,
Mhm.
because if it's not, then you refresh it and all of a sudden there's no availability and you've lost it completely.
See what I mean? That's stressful.
And that's a simple thing to just be able to say, let us change the time if it
Yep.
becomes available. Don't make us do that.
Right.
So. But that is going to be the most negative part of all of our shows. So make sure and check out our channel. Look for some more of the other ones. And we will keep on telling you more about this trip.